Hey, BA fam, welcome to the Brown Table. We haven't had one of these in a minute, it feels like.
Oh,
I've been over here just interviewing people. I've been in like my podcast host bag, just getting incredible thought leaders. Um, I do have
I
a couple
see it.
of, do you?
I
You
see
know,
it.
going
Yeah, I
on
love it.
iconic radio stations and such like that,
You
you
know,
know.
like so, like that. No, but I've been preparing very hard for Mental Health Awareness Month, which is happening in May.
Mhm.
And y'all know some of these like months, like they can be a little, you know, lip service, corny, whatever.
Yeah.
But because I have had such a pivotal year in my own mental health journey this past year, so I'm kind of celebrating the year of me saying yes to my mental health resources and like
Okay.
seeing such, great progress. I said, let me put together some shows where we can really like look at the link between our mindset and our finances, which
Yes.
is such an obvious, like they're on the same path in my mind.
right.
They really are.
So I got
And
some
we
good
don't pay attention enough, I feel like, to that. Like we say it over and over and over again, but people still want to skip to, okay, so how do I get my credit right? It's like,
Exactly.
first, come on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's also the hardest thing to coach people in. So I've got,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk to Aja Evans, who's a financial
I
therapist.
love
You
Asia.
know, Aja?
Yes.
Aww.
She's
Yeah.
amazing.
Asia. That's my boo.
Okay, good.
Soon to
It's
be
always a
cousin.
risk when I name drop somebody on the show, you
No,
know?
she's amazing. She just
Soon
came
to
out
be
a book
what? What
called
was
Feel
the
Good
wink?
Finance. She's so
I
great.
said soon to be cousin.
Soon to
Y'all
be
can,
cousin.
who? She marrying your kin?
No.
She having your baby? What?
No. Never mind.
We're
All
just gonna
right.
leave that
I'm
one there.
down. Soon to be cousins. Mm-mm. Okay. I mean, the last time Naseema was here, we did get a little bit of tea out of her about her dating life,
I
so I
know,
don't know
Just a
what
right?
that
little
could
And now
bit.
she's
mean.
just
Just a
dropping
little
seeds
bit.
along the way. Like we're supposed to follow her little trail of hints.
Listen, the uncertainty is not good for my mental health, okay? So let me just keep moving. Asia, who is the author of a book that I can't remember the name of.
Feel good
You
I
can
have it
finance.
right
Feel Good
here.
Feel good
Finance.
finance.
Oh,
Feel
look at
good.
you. There we
Yeah.
go.
Look at
That
how
book just
resourceful I
recent.
am.
I mean,
Yes.
it's almost like we did not plan that.
We did not. We did
That
We
not. I
didn't.
just
But you
literally
know,
have it sitting here.
that's when I
Cause
know I pick a good one.
she's my
she
homie.
deserves it. She deserves. She's
Oh,
incredible.
She
good.
does.
So I've
Yes.
got Asia coming on to like I did a poll on my on Brown Ambitions IG just asking folks like what kinds of questions are you having? What's really like keeping you up at night? So we're gonna talk about that. I've also got Nasima, I told you I was gonna talk to Dr. Uche Blackstock. Um and
Yeah.
Yanely, I know you'd be excited
Yes,
about
this is
that
such
too.
a good book. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, that book
Yeah.
give me chills.
Yes.
She's
So
Yes.
amazing.
she
Definitely.
Yeah, so those who don't know, she wrote this New York Times bestselling book a year ago called Legacy. A
Mm-hmm.
Black physician reckons with racism in Medicare medicine. I almost did it. I
Yes.
almost remembered the whole title.
You did good.
So I interviewed her along with Dr. Jessica M. Shepard, who is a menopause and OBGYN expert from
Love
the West
that.
Coast. So we're getting into that interview ended up being more about like their mental health because they are two such incredible advocates for us. So I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
like get real with them about, and they are both like Dr. Blackstock is talking about how this huge effort to undo DEI across
It's
America is
wild.
impacting her business because she's not
Wow.
a
Mm-hmm.
practicing physician anymore. She has
Oh right, she has her nonprofit.
it's a consultancy firm, so she gets paid to speak and do DEI trainings and things like that. So we get into that. It's a really good one. I've
Yeah.
got the author of Black Girls Breathing, Jasmine
Mm-hmm.
Marie. So she
Nice.
and I, so Black Girls Breathing is all about, she actually runs this incredible network of breathwork specialists and she trains them. And we're going to talk about how breathwork, which has become a really crucial part of my mental health journey. This has been the year of it takes more than therapy
Oh
for
Yes.
me.
yes.
True.
So we do a breathwork exercise. She talks about like how it's helping, like we talk about how do you like get to the root of your mental health challenges and how it could impact your finances. And it ain't got nothing to do with the calculator sometimes or like
Mm-hmm.
your
Right.
budget. So we get into that and what else? I have so much good stuff, but those are just a few episodes. So stay tuned, BA, for all of May. We're kicking off this Friday. When you listen to this Friday's episode, we're going to kick off with BA's month of mental health and joy and
I
fun.
love that. That's amazing. We need it.
Yes,
We need
definitely.
it.
Thanks. So what's new with y'all? Naseema, we haven't seen you since February when you joined the brown table.
I know. I
You got
know.
cuter if that's possible.
Oh, you're so sweet. It's the headphones that are really doing it. I
Yeah.
really feel like they're bringing out something. Um, these are my 2-year-olds, by the way. But so exciting stuff coming down the line. Like I was telling you before we started recording, I am going to try to navigate a little mini retirement, which I won't fully pull away from work, but I definitely won't be working as much. More like going from working 3 to 5 days a week to maybe 5 or 6 days a month.
Nice.
And navigating that to focus on my family and maybe world schooling my kids. And what that looks like is, using the world as your classroom. So, for example, a couple years ago, we went to London and, we went to the British Museum and we talked about the British Museum and all the things in the museum and the artifacts, where they come from. But also, it was very interesting while we were there, the British Museum was robbed of a lot of the artifacts. And then we can talk
Wait.
about well, yes. Well, actually, they stole all that stuff anyway. So it's my
It's true.
people getting the stuff back.
Right.
And then what that meant, and so like doing things like that, more
I
interactive
watched the first
learning.
Black Panther. I know what you're talking about.
Exactly, and as appropriate.
No, not you wearing the Black Panther. Oh, that's the real Black Panther.
real
Okay.
Black-
This is a real Black Panther,
Pleasure.
but it's just about me representing, anything that says Oakland on it. But my dad was a Panther, ironically.
Oh.
So yeah,
Wait, so remind the BA fam. So you are a nurse by trade, a hospital nurse. What's the exact title?
I'm a labor and delivery nurse by trade.
L&D nurse.
Yes, I deliver babies.
When I had my baby a couple years ago, the nurse who
The
delivered
same day
him,
as me.
the same day as you.
I
I feel like you remind me every time. We have Gemini twin babies. So the same
Yes.
day as you, I had one of those like minimum. What did you call it? Mini retirement. I had a mini retired nurse who was incredible. Nurse
Yep.
Bobby. She's like,
And
oh,
the
I only
thing
do this
is-
like twice a month, and I just happened to get her
Yes.
day, and I was so happy because she was the best.
Exactly. And you come to work like so happy to be there. Like we love what we do, but the burnout is real.
Real.
Yeah, the job stress is real. So
But
yeah,
you know
when
what?
you
I
get
just
to
saw a
work,
study that said that the highest trusted profession in the United States is a nurse. And
Oh,
Yeah.
so when you burn out, that's why people have so much trust in nurses. You go above and beyond. You're working so hard, crazy hours. And when you have a good nurse, it makes the entire hospital experience so different. So it makes
Yes.
sense. But yes, that burnout. Whew,
yeah, it definitely makes or breaks a hospital experience.
yeah.
And you're so
Especially
much
in
more
labor
than
and
that.
delivery where you never forget
Right.
when you have a baby. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you're also so much more than that. You have 4 baby girls.
I have 3. Oh,
3,
girl, don't be
okay.
putting that extra one on
I'm
me.
sorry.
Okay?
I'm sorry. Unmanifest. Unmanifest. 3. Which is still incredible. 3 baby girls.
Yes. Amazing.
And you've created this brand, Financially Intentional. And as a mom myself, I love seeing how you have invested for their futures and got some 6-figure nares already.
Yes, already.
So
Yep.
great.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that going to look like? So then are you living off have you been investing in savings? So you're going to like partially live off of that and then whatever income you get from Financially Intentional?
Exactly. Exactly. And then maybe a little bit of commingling of funds, like combining some funds and
With, like,
fixing
just-
just some
Mandy.
very
With,
special
with-
person.
With who?
Ooh, things have escalated since February.
Maybe it's Asia's cousin, you know?
Oh no, literally you're going to be here. Are you engaged?
No, not yet.
Oh, to say, wait a minute.
Cool.
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna
cool.
say-
I'm cool. You're cool. Also, I have to say, Yanely, I know I look like a news anchor, but I disassembled my mic stand, and this is just how it's going to be. Reporting live.
You're making it work. You're making it
Yeah,
work.
from suburbia.
That's amazing.
Wow,
Naseema. I'm
thanks.
so happy for you to hear that because I just feel like that is the number one reason why high achieving women step away is burnout. We just
Yes.
pour so much into the work we do. So like the fact that you're
Yes.
figuring out a way to still do what you love, still make that impact, still do the work, but do it in a way that works for you. Like I'm all here for mini retirements. I love it.
And also
Yeah.
to be able to spend time with my kids who I actually really
Yes.
like. I really enjoy them. And like,
Yeah.
I never, first of all, I never even wanted to have no kids. So let's start there.
Same.
Now you got
But,
three, and I got three of them.
and I don't know, I'll be looking at them like, where the hell these kids come
I
from?
am, you know how they say
But
you're your ancestors' wildest dreams? I am my past self's nightmare. Like, baby Mandy would be appalled. We live where?
Oh, what are you doing
BJ's is the
tonight?
excursion of the week? Like,
BJ's.
we like the babies? That's
No, but
lovely,
it's
though.
true though because the kids, this is the age. Like
yeah.
this is the age that makes all of they are so impressionable at this
Yep.
age. This is the age
Mm-hmm.
that you enjoy most and remember most. This
Mm.
that young age. Like I remember my memories always with my mom because my dad was always working. He would only be home
Mm-hmm.
one day a week, and that one day that he was home not working, of course he was sleeping all day because he was
Mm-hmm.
exhausted. So I feel like I don't have childhood early memories of like my dad being that playful dad that he is now as a granddad. I see him as an abuelo with my niece and nephews, how he is with them. I'm like, oh, I never got that experience with him as a dad because he was always working, right? Just to put
Yeah.
food on the table. So for you to be able to step away for that reason to be like, no, no, my girls are gonna remember me this way is like beautiful. That is what all of our ancestors have wanted for us,
Yes.
I'm sure,
Yes.
forever, because it's a beautiful thing. It's such a gift.
Yeah. I'm excited about it.
So, what's the timeline for this mini retirement?
Well, I'm figuring that out. Hopefully, within the next couple of months. Like I was telling you, if you guys don't know who Jillian Jashard is, I mean Jillian Johnsroot. I always say her name wrong. Jillian Johnsroot is author of Retire Often, which is coming out in September. It's not a plug. But she has a Retire Often podcast, and she's retired several times and coaches people through it. And so just
Often.
figuring things out logistically with her. Initially, it was going to be June, which is very soon. But I'll figure it out in the next couple of weeks. I'll have to update you. I'll know by mid-May what my timeline is looking like and what my trajectory will be.
I love
I
that.
love that
I did not
concept.
know about Retire Often. I'm put that on my list.
Don't
Oh
you
my
love it?
goodness.
I
I
feel
know
like
how you
it's
guys
so
don't know
It's
realistic.
her.
not on my radar. No, it's on my list now. Now it's on my list.
Jillian is the bomb. Like
Okay.
I thought everybody knew Jillian in this
No,
community.
girl. You
Yeah,
just put me
Jillian
on.
is.
I'm
Yes.
under this book right now. I'm lucky I remember y'all. And the fact that we done had a kid the
I
same
know how
day.
that goes.
Oh, you writing a book?
My manuscript is due today, y'all. I do not know why I booked this, but I'm really happy I did because I have been in my basement since 5 a.m. finalizing
Yeah,
the
girl, you need a
manuscript
brain break, girl.
You have
need a brain break.
to.
Brown Ambition.
Yeah.
You need
Oh
a
my
break.
God. The book that I wrote, I don't even market it because it's so much trauma behind it.
Oh,
Like so much
no.
PTSD. Yes.
It's
Oh, you got
yes.
another one in you then. I'm
Oh,
enjoying the
I
process.
definitely have a bigger one and a different one. I did it a little bit unconventionally, so and it was just like a way to get exposed to it. But I was just like, ooh, I needed, yeah. I mean, and mind you, it was like an 8-week timeline during COVID,
Girl.
while being a nurse full time, while my daughter was in kindergarten and out of school, so I
I
would go
love
to
the way you
work.
say kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
I was gonna let it go.
How do you say that?
Kindergarten.
Exactly as you did. Keep going.
Which
No
was in
notes.
kindergarten, and then and she couldn't read how to do her homework, so I would go to work for 12 hours, come home, and then be her teacher, and then do it all again. And I was fortunately the only one to never get COVID on my unit, and I still haven't gotten COVID that I know of. But so I was always working because everybody was sick. Everybody kept on calling out sick, so it's like, can you come in? Can you come in? And writing this book, so a lot of trauma around it.
Jesus. You deserve a mini retirement. It's about time.
Man, you needed one a couple years ago.
Yes. And then some other stuff happened on top of that like kind of broke up my family. But
because
Those,
when it
these
rains, it
five
pours.
years, I mean, I think everyone's journey, that everyone's got a book after these 5 years, I feel
Oh,
like,
for sure.
you
For
know,
sure.
the
Mm-hmm.
story. I'm purging mine from my body, and it has been, I needed more than 8 weeks. I'll tell you that. I think I got this book deal the month before I gave birth to our Gemini baby. So it's been 2 years.
Oh my goodness.
And this is just the manuscript, so I have all these edits to do. But anyway,
Right.
speaking of Oakland and why you love it and you always rep so hard, how excited are you for your boy, Ryan Coogler,
Oh my God.
to be
Oh
succeeding in this way? It would have been awkward if you were like, who? I don't know.
no. For first of
Who's
all,
that
Ryan
man?
Coogler is everything. He's just like, first of all, he's from Oakland, and he also went to USC, which is my alma mater,
Oh, look
double
at you.
time. So I ride for Ryan Coogler. He a little bit younger. If he was a little bit older, it would be really
He's like 40. What are you talking about?
younger. When you're in college and you like a senior and then a freshman, you
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I was like, I know he's not even 40 yet. Y'all bugging. He's up there in the 30s, but dang, he's
Yeah.
young. He's young.
Almost
Yeah.
40.
He almost 40.
Have y'all seen Sinners?
I literally am
Yes.
planning to see it like in a couple hours.
Oh my God, Naseema, you're gonna
damn.
freaking
So you haven't seen it
love
yet.
I have not.
All right,
Oh
no
my gosh.
spoilers. No spoilers.
Naseema,
It's-
get ready.
I've been waiting for this moment.
It is so freaking good. I've
You
been
loved
telling
it?
everybody I know that you have to go see it. Like, you must.
Yeah.
We went last weekend on a date night. And it's wild because my boyfriend was literally like not trying to do anything. I was like, babe, let's go out, let's do that. He's like, no. And I was like, we gotta go see Sinners. Now his thing is, as soon as I say like I want to go see a movie, his immediate thing is like, he's gonna go look at Rotten Tomatoes. That is,
And now-
he's that person.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's that person.
Yes.
And if the Rotten Tomatoes number is not looking like 100%, it's
Yeah.
a no. But Sinners is damn near 100% for both.
It was 100%.
For
Yes.
the critics rating and the tomato meter. Like, that is unheard of for a movie to get
Yep.
so high in both. That's how I was like able to convince him, and we went straight to the movie theater. I was so excited. I was so
Nice.
excited.
I treated myself the day after I got back from that road trip, the two that I'm trying to forget about, so hard. So stop talking about it, Mandy. But I got back from this long, anyway, event. And yeah, I went on a Monday by myself to an IMAX theater near me. And apparently it's not in every theater. So I think I'm lucky to live next to one that has it.
Oh yeah.
But, I was a little afraid, y'all. I didn't think I liked it. I
Ooh.
really left I left the theater so like I had just gone through something. I felt so raw. I think I was
I
also
mean, it
just.
was
Really?
intense. It was intense.
You're
AF.
tired. That was a
No,
lot.
it was intense AF for sure.
I don't think it's a spoiler to say stay through the credits. At this point, we all know stay
For
through
sure.
the credits. But
Okay.
I wouldn't have gotten up if you had paid me. I was so cemented to my seat with just what did I like so much, like the weight and the gravity of it all. I need to go see it again. And I texted my brother right after, and I was like, Sinners, and he's like, what did you think? He had also seen the night before.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know that I loved it. And it's not because like I think that it doesn't do it justice to put it in like the I liked or didn't like it category.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I have thought about that movie every hour of every day since I saw it. Just about. I've had dreams about it.
Oh my
I've thought about different scenes. It was art. I mean, it definitely is.
Oh, that for sure.
Yeah,
Frank
it's
Coogler.
definitely
Yeah.
an incredible film, a huge film, like a phenomenal film. Am I going to want to watch it? Like, it's not going to be my comfort movie. I'll tell you that for free. And not when I'm having a bad day. But it was beautifully done.
It was
And
so good. It was so. I just have never seen a movie that approaches a topic in that way. Like, it's usually you see vampire movies, it's like, oh, monsters versus victims. Like, no, this is like so complex and dynamic. Like power, oppression, racism, Jim Crow, survival of Black Americans in 1930s, 1940s, Mississippi. Like, what? And vampires?
musical
Music?
vampirism.
Music, dancing, the cinematography was amazing.
Sexy.
Two Michael B.
It's a sexy
Jordans.
movie.
Two Michael, not one. Two Michael Jordans. I mean, it was a lot. But girl, I thought it was incredible in terms of artistic and creative expression. The interweaving of like the message around the music and Black culture and it being taken by not coincidentally, a white vampire, a white man vampire. Like it was
Well,
just
given to
so
him by a what
one
do we call her?
quarter, wow, one
By a
quarter
Haley
black
Steinfeld.
white woman. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was
Yeah.
just, woo, it was a lot. It was a lot of layers. I
And the
can't
theme
wait
was
to hear
like, no
what you think.
spoilers.
I know.
It's
I can't wait
okay.
to hear
I'm
what you
really
think,
excited.
Naseema.
I'm really hyped up. Hype me
Yes,
up.
girl,
I
dead
think
ass.
you're gonna
Hype
have a
me up.
time. You going with your boo thing, or are you going
No,
solo?
no, 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 no. He doesn't live here.
Oh, well, you're gonna love it regardless. It's definitely the type of movie. Well, actually, I was just talking to my friend. If y'all don't follow him, definitely go Ty Allen Jackson on Insta. He does children's books for financial literacy, and also just Black fiction children's books, like Black comic books. Anyway, he's amazing. So I was talking to him, and he was like, "I'm going to see it." I went by myself the first time. The
Yeah.
theater was empty. He sat in the theater alone.
Yeah,
Okay. And then
same.
he's like, I'm going back again tomorrow to see it again. Like, I was like, dang. But
I
I
want to
don't
go
blame
see it with
you.
people. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
scared to see it by myself, but I'm gonna see it
Not that
today.
it's scary, but I want to talk about it. Like I like to get in the weeds. I wanted someone to talk about it with immediately.
That's how I do
And
too.
everybody in the theater was just like me. We were all shell shocked and we all just left. It was silent. It was like a funeral dirge. It was weird.
Oh my gosh. Okay, see, that's
It was
not how it
weird.
was. But we left the theater. Now, granted, this is Miami, so like
Yeah.
the theater going is weird depending on what neighborhood you go to. But it was definitely a buzzing. Everybody was talking, chatting, laughing like when we left.
Wow.
So it was, I think it's different depending on the aura, the environment, the vibe of the theater you see it in.
What's his name? Ty what?
Alan Jackson.
Ah.
He has a kid's book called Make Your Own Money: How Kids Can Earn It, Save It, Spend It, and Dream
Oh,
Big.
that's
So if you got a
cute.
kid,
I love
Alan
it.
Jackson, he's great. Make Your Own Money. And then
You
also
know.
he has another kid's book called Danny Dollar.
I got to get Rio that. The other day, Rio told me he says he wants to be a millionaire.
Oh,
Okay,
get him
Rio.
that
Live.
one.
I was like,
Get
what had they
him
been talking about it
Get him
aftercare?
Danny Dollar. Danny Dollar's great. It's like the lemonade
Okay.
escapade. It's the little black boy who has a business to sell lemonade, and then there's drama, but then he gets to meet the mayor, and his goal is to become a millionaire because he wants to own a sports team. Ah, I love that book.
Oh,
It's so good
okay.
for read aloud. Like if you have a younger kid that you read aloud to them, or if you have like a fourth grader and fourth grader and up that they can read it on their own. It's like a chapter book. But I
Okay.
love Ty. He's great.
Oh, the book recs are hot. All right. So news wise, I am like thinking about my buzzworthy topics, and the one that BA fam has been DMing about the most has been like the student loan. What are we calling
yeah.
it? Come to
Student loan
Jesus.
mess. The student loan mess.
Is it a mess? So the latest I had seen was that beginning May 5th, if you have been on default on your loans, like it's going to show up on your credit report.
Right.
Oh
It's
wow.
like the chickens have come home to roost.
That's right.
The honeymoon is over. And also, this just means there's not a presidential election close enough for it to sway votes. So they're finally okay with like letting it go. Listen, Joe Biden, we appreciate you, but I know you kept it alive.
He tried. He tried, girl.
You did. I mean, you did. For it's been 5 years now since the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, what do y'all think? I mean, I feel like the only thing you can do is go to your student loan servicer's website ASAP and figure out where your loans stand, find out
Yeah.
where they're all at.
Yeah, with student loan stuff, it's so complex that I always try to encourage people to work with a consultant, like a student loan planner or something like that, who can really dive in, especially if you have a whole lot of federal student loans,
Right.
who can really dive in the back end and just like see like what your best options are, because that I feel like you can get caught up in some mess, especially right now. But what I'm confused about is, what is there a Department of Education still? Like who's like over this?
Yes. It keeps saying the Department of Education is going to start collections starting May 5th. I'm like, what? Which department of the one
Is
that
that the one that they
eliminated?
dismantled? Like,
So confused by that.
I can't keep up.
I know.
I'm overwhelmed.
I know. You have to look at the latest. And I was like, I mean, I feel like I knew what was happening on Friday, but now it's been a few days since then. So I feel the need to.
Yeah.
I think, well, the student loan, I mean, the government itself does service some loans. So the Department of Education, like website, we can post a link in the show notes for y'all. Studentaid.gov is where you would go to like find out what's happening with your federal student loans. But sometimes, like when I had student loans, they were serviced by another company. So the government would contract with these big loan servicers. So I used to have Nelnet. Of course, then there's like Sally Mae,
Yes.
all these big ones. So they'll service federal student loan debt. And the thing is, like, you know how sometimes when you get a mortgage,
They
for
change.
example, it changes.
Yeah.
I've had like
They
four
sell
All
the
the
debt.
time. All the
Yeah.
time.
yeah, they sell the debt, so it may not be the same servicer as you remember. It's just really, really important. No matter, I know it's confusing, and the unfortunate thing is that it doesn't feel like there's a grown up at the steering wheel. So we really have to like take it on ourselves to go and figure out what all we have
Yeah.
and where it's
Yeah.
at.
Yeah. There's some good accounts to follow that really track it. Like I said, if you just follow Student Loan Planner, it's not the student loan, it's just Student Loan Planner. And then, oh my God, why am I blanking on the lawyer that's also doing student loans? Really tall, light skinned. Dude, I'm going to tell you
The
who it is.
lawyer.
Yeah, he's a student loan lawyer. He's
Oh,
in
that's
Philly.
right. The head of the DOE is the wrestling lady. That's
Oh, my
what
Lord.
we're saying. I forgot about her.
I can't even. I can't even.
Right.
So the real fear among people like BA fam, I was just looking at the comments, is like wage garnishment,
Yes.
which can happen if you're severely delinquent. So that means like you've missed 270 days or more of your payments. So that's months and months of missing payments, almost a full year.
Right.
So at this point, I mean, it's not just wage garnishment. They can also take money from your tax refund
Yep.
that you may be owed and may not see next tax season.
Right.
So Social Security benefits, we have our older kings and queens.
Yeah. Still paying student loans because that's the reality. That's the world we live in.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I can say I am very happy to have paid them off. At first, I was mad because I was like, I could have got all these forgiveness programs, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, well, I mean, like if they hadn't forgiven them, now I would have been in a whole world of hurt. But, you know, I'm very glad I have no more student loans. That 220,000 or 250,000 that I actually paid off.
Congratulations, because your skin is so clear and beautiful, and you are like stunning. You know how to, I mean, like, I don't understand how you've lived this many lives and accomplished so much.
That is wild.
Girl.
You deserve that retirement.
Girl,
God.
I have been moving. Like, I don't think people understand. I'll be like, listen, just scroll Instagram and you'll see a whole
You
lot of
ain't-
shit.
You ain't been playing around. Yanely, what about you, Miss Ivy League? Did you
Girl,
have debt?
I had one small student loan because I did get a full ride. I was just that nerdy kid, so my scholarship covered all my tuition and stuff. But I did have a student loan for my summer study abroad program that was not covered by the scholarship. So I did take out a student loan for that. But it was it was like under 7K. So when I graduated, I didn't feel
Nice.
like I was like up under student loans, but I did have a bunch of credit card debt. That's another story.
Yeah.
But
Oh, you
I
did.
did pay off the student
Yeah.
loans. I do feel like it's really scary. Like I have a sister who was dealing with almost $100,000 of student loan debt. And I just feel like we didn't have a lot of guidance, and she wasn't lucky like me to get the scholarship. So it's either, especially when you're a really low income kid, it's like the low income kids and the high income earners that kind of coast when it comes to college expenses. Because like your family either got it, they just drop a 40K check and it's fine, or you get a full scholarship because you're low income and high achieving. But it's the middle income, right?
Yep.
That just gets screwed, end up with stacks and stacks on stacks of student loan debt. And it's so hard. I feel like that's the biggest frustration. But my sister was able to get a lot of her student loan debt forgiven because she works in higher ed. So she was able to qualify for the federal public service loan forgiveness program. But if you don't work in public service, obviously that's not an option. And there's really not a lot of other types of forgiveness out there. Like they're not really trying to wipe debt. So I do think it's important to go on it. Yeah.
Actually, what I have learned is that there are hundreds of loan forgiveness programs. Public service loan forgiveness is just the biggest one. That's why I always defer to like specialists, because it's a lot of stuff you don't know unless
Know
you
about.
follow the legislation and all of the programs to the T. And,
Of course,
Some of
the
but you
them
other
are
know,
red
person,
state,
with
you
huh?
most
know.
tax things, that's how it is,
Yeah,
right? Like when you look
exactly.
at the exact policies and stuff. But I mean, look, it's a good thing that so many people got forgiveness because there was a
Yes.
lot of corruption. There was a lot of like lack of clarity. There was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
unjust things happening with like not being actually informed about interest or how it works, or being told that your loan was unsubsidized or subsidized when it was unsubsidized. I mean, there's a lot. There was also predatory stuff, like people straight up calling
Oh,
my sister and
straight
telling
up.
her to just
I
sign up for
still
deferment,
get
sign
that.
up for forbearance, don't worry about it, just put it into forbearance, just sign up for this, I'll help you do it right now, not explaining what does that mean, because the interest keeps accruing, baby, every single day. They don't pause the interest, so you,
Mm-hmm.
you don't really fully understand. So I do think that
Yeah.
because of that, it was important to do a lot of forgiveness. But even still, like, I do think people are just straight up scared now, and I agree
Yeah.
with Naseema, like, you got to get ahead of it, because the government can garnish up to 15% of your wages. They will come for that paycheck, but
Oh, they
only
will.
if, right, but only if you have not taken any steps to try to set up a payment plan or set up something first. If you, even if you do outreach and you set up something as small as that might be, that alone is enough to not put you in the wage garnishment category or in any of these other like horrible for your credit and things like that, because you're working with them. But the problem is, so many of us, when we have really like a debt situation that's really scary, we try to do like the ostrich and like bury ourselves up under the sand and just try to like avoid their calls, don't reach out to them, try to pretend it's not just going to magically go away. Like, this is one in particular where they're coming down hard on it because it's been 5 years that they haven't collected a penny of interest on these loans, and so they're really trying to buck down on it. So I just think, just get ahead of it. And like Naseema said, if you need help, there are certifications and designations specifically for people who are like CSLP, which is Certified Student Loan Professional, not just a
Yep.
rando on Instagram like, oh, I
Yep.
can help you with no,
No.
Certified Student Loan
Yes.
Professional, y'all,
And student
certified.
loan lawyers. The student loan lawyer I was thinking about, his name is Stanley Tate. Yeah.
Stanley Tate. Okay.
Yeah.
Especially helpful if you're trying to challenge a wage garnishment, which I've
Oh
read.
yeah, and
Yes.
he's done that.
Yeah.
You
That's
know
the
how they say
scariest
that you
thing. It's
can't
like,
have student loans removed from your credit and all of that
Right.
stuff, and it's with you.
yeah,
He has
They
taken those
can.
he
In
off.
has
certain
ways.
Yes.
circumstances, they can. They
Yes.
also say that you can't have it written off in a bankruptcy.
Yes.
But
All
again,
of
if you
that.
have a lawyer working with you, there are
Yes.
certain cases of undue hardship that in certain
Yes.
cases. So just,
Yep.
your situation is so specific to you. Don't just go
Yes.
on, social and watch these videos and think it applies to you. Your situation is very specific,
Very
and getting
unique.
that one-on-one can be really helpful. Yeah.
Yep.
Studentaid.gov, y'all. That is the Department of Education's website. It's just such a, it's just such bullshit because they wait until the CFPB has been dismantled. So that's like the Consumer Protection Bureau
Yep.
that would
Yep.
say, that protected students in the wake of the financial crisis from '08 who were being taken advantage of left and right by these servicers, charge fees, also, our President Orange himself and his Trump University, BS that was also like he was also sued for scamming
Oh yeah, that private
college
school
students.
stuff. Oh
Yeah, the
yes.
for-profit
Uh-huh.
school. Like,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
All kinds of shady
the
business.
history of
Oh
higher
yeah.
education being a scam for so many people is there. It's a shame. So we have to protect ourselves. And I
Yep.
love that y'all shared some additional resources. But the first step is just figuring out where your loans stand, studentaid.gov, and then we'll
Yep.
put,
That's where you pull all of that.
That's right. And
Yep.
if you don't, if you're like, look, I really want to work with somebody one on one and I don't have money to hire like a certified person, there are some places where you can get free advice for your student loans. I know one of them is the Institute of Student Loan Advisors, but make sure, like, usually it's going to be nonprofit or affiliated with a local government agency, because the reality is, I mean, if it's not a nonprofit, like, they're gonna have to make money somehow from this. So I would say look for free advice if you really are in a situation where you're like, I can't even pay my loans. How am I gonna pay somebody to help me not pay my loans? I don't have the
That's
money.
right.
So I get
right?
that, but don't just like quit and give up. Like, there's so many resources out there. You just really have to do the digging and put in the time.
And then also, I have to say, even if you are paying for a service, first of all, make sure that it's a credible service.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you're saying you can't pay your loans. The fees are minimal, like a couple $100, but for example, if I would have worked with them before I paid off my student loans, it would have saved me $80,000. So I mean, like in the whole scheme of things, like look at it like
Oh,
that.
really? Just based on like how
Yeah,
much interest you paid
just on
over
how I
time?
paid it off. If I would have
Oh, okay.
strategized it, if I would have optimized my strategy, I could have saved $80,000 over the course of the time. So
Ooh,
that ain't no small change.
honey. Whole year's worth of salary for a lot of people out
A
there, and
lot
multiple
of
years of
people.
salary for a lot of other people out there. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild. But yeah, I think a lot of the confusion right now is also like the safe plan, like is it even a thing anymore? Like what
Like
are the
that part.
options? That's the confusing part. So I do think some
Yeah.
of that you can just wrap your head around it by going on to studentaid.gov. Some of it not it's not so clear, but for the most part, if your income is at a position where it's like, okay, first of all, my salary is so low, my income is so low, like that's the part that's really hard, then they have the income driven repayment plan. And I do feel like for a lot of people, that usually is going to be a first solid place to start. If you are
Yep.
in a situation right
Mm-hmm.
now, you're like, I don't even know how I'm supposed to pay. Just start with the income
Yep.
driven repayment plan while you start figuring out if there's a better option of a plan, because that is directly tied to your income. If you're in a low income environment right now, that's going to help you at least to make sure it's limited to a small percentage of your income, which is already low as it is. So just
Yep.
start there, right? And then you
Yep.
can kind of start getting some clarity and looking for next steps from there on.
Yep.
It's no wonder why HBCUs are having a hard time recruiting, especially black men right now.
Yep.
It's a hard case to make. I mean, there's definitely still a case to be made for why education is crucial, can be crucial for your professional journey and to get to get the best access to high paying jobs. But it's not the end all be all. I think the jig is up. Like people are realizing that. But we are like when you look at the populations that are going to be most impacted, like you said, the people caught in the middle between
Mm-hmm.
the low income and the high, it's like it's going to be underserved, like minority students.
Yep.
So it's more so if you
Yeah.
have cousins, siblings, younger siblings who are heading into college, just make sure. I wish that I got lucky that I was too cheap to pay. Like, I don't know, my mom told me not to like take out student loans for my housing and stuff like that. So I only graduated with like 8K as
Yeah.
well, Yanely. But I feel like if I had just gotten some counseling, even on my own campus,
Yeah. Yeah.
before I said yes and let me re-up this loan semester after semester.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, like you said, that is so missing. But does it really incentivize the school to have somebody there to do that?
Right.
That's the whole thing. For me, what ended up happening was I went to USC, which is a private school. At that time, I'm old, so 22 years ago. Well, that was when I graduated, so 26 years ago. It was $40,000 a year. And like they hit me with that bill because we fell in that middle that you were talking about, Yaneli. And my dad was like, I ain't about to pay this. And so I went to the office and I said, my daddy said he's not paying for it. And they was like,
My
okay.
daddy said to tell you.
And they said, okay, we'll just give you a grant.
Oh,
So
look at
I
that.
graduated from 6 years at USC, grad school, with only $40,000 of debt,
Wow.
considering
Yeah.
because
That's how much
it's a
Oh,
somebody
private
medical
school.
school got you to that
wanted.
That
200. Okay.
Right.
no, that was nursing school.
Or
Yeah,
nursing school, sorry. Yeah.
nursing school. Yeah. So after that, at the state school, by the way.
Yeah.
But we
Gotcha.
But a
don't
lot of
talk
people
about
take
that.
that on per year.
Yes,
So I guess you
exactly.
had that total. But you make a
Exactly.
good point.
Yeah.
You make a really good point, Mandy, about HBCU struggling right now. My sister, shout out to my sister, who is the VP of data analytics at Howard University.
That's right.
My sister is doing the damn thing though. She's
I
been at
love
Howard for
that.
years,
Y'all
and
are
so
smart kiddos.
we work hard. But so my sister actually recently told me that a lot of the data shows, and it's not like this is some internal thing, like it's very public data, that the challenge is financial for most students that go to Howard. And what you see is that 4 years, they call it a 4 year degree because most people do a bachelor in 4 years, but a lot of students at Howard take 5 or 6 years to do that 4 year degree because the finances, because personally they end up getting like they can't, so they pause and they come back and they have to extend, so it takes much longer because of the finances. And that's, I think, is a huge piece of this puzzle, that even though you could do all the wiping and forgiveness that you want on all the student loans that exist, but moving forward though, like what is happening to these droves and droves of incoming students that it's not being addressed. It's like, okay, well, we're going to fix this problem over here, but we're not going to get to the root of it when we keep bringing new students into a system that is burdening them with the debt in the first place
And then they're under attack by their own government at the same time.
at the exact same time. I
Let's not have
mean,
a psychotic spiral because it's all happening all at once.
That's the whole thing.
It's all happening all at once.
yeah, it's
How
wild.
are y'all coping? It
This
is, we're
this
heading into mental health month.
Yeah.
that's it. Like the only thing I'm like looking forward to is like being able to escape the rat race and what that looks like for me. Like that's the only thing holding me together right now. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
And you're going to take charge of your kids' education, it sounds
Yes.
like.
Yes. Yes.
Well, so when I did Teach for America, they taught us in this like super speedy like training program they call summer institute training. So you basically, if you do Teach for America, you don't get the 4 years to study education. Most people just come in and do 2 years of teaching, but they have to give you like a master's in education in like 4 weeks over the summer, and then you're in the classroom. So
Oh, I know.
it's a really fast program. But one of the biggest things that I got from that training program was it doesn't just apply to teaching, but it was this idea that as a teacher, there is so much going on because you're in a school building that's part of a larger school district of many different schools, that's part of a much larger state with lots of schools, much larger national education system, but you're in your classroom. And so what you can focus on, which you should allow yourself to really put energy towards, is what's in your locus of control. Anything that is not within your locus of control, it is literally pointless, a waste of your time, energy, resources, mental energy. Like it is a waste to even consider it because it's not in your locus of control at
What's a
all.
locus? I like that word. I'm going to write
Girl,
that
it has
down.
stuck
You
with
know
me.
what?
It has stuck with me about
Yeah.
the locus of control thing. Because Naseema, that's what you're saying. Like what is in my locus of control? What I do with my time, what I do with my income, with my savings, with my net worth, what I do with my daughters in my home. And for me, it looks similar in Miami. Like I don't have kids and all that, but I've been spending a lot more time with my friends. My friend
Yes.
groups are mostly all people of color, a lot of them are LGBTQIA plus. Like it's a pretty diverse mix, especially for living in Miami, in Florida. It's rough out here, so we have to
Yeah.
find each other. We've been doing just like
Yeah.
brunches at each other's places, getting together to do workouts. I just did yoga with two of my girls the other day. Like I just have to lean on my people because that way it reminds me like, even though the news cycle is crazy, even though a lot of these people around us do have backwards thought processes and beliefs, but like we got each other and we got and we're here. Like let's lean on that because it's gonna get us through these next couple years. As wild as it's gonna get, like your people are all you got. And like for me, I've been doubling down on that and just like helping as
Yeah.
many people as I can with what I can offer them, which is like, hey, let's sit down and help you with your finances. I just had a call the other day with one of my friends who's like, I'm doing a gig through my consulting business with Google. They're going to pay me 6 figures to do this mentorship program with a lot of students doing this coming into Google. And I don't know what to do with the money. I was like, girl, I got you. We're going to see. We're going to get on Zoom for an hour. We're going to talk
Yes.
about all so
Yes.
let's just be there for each other and hold each other down because that's, to me,
That's all
it's
we
the, It's
have.
the best thing I can do that is in my locus of control.
I love
Exactly.
it. My locus, my area of control.
Boom.
Yeah, I mean, let me not knock my entire computer off my my hodgepodge of books that they're standing on. I was talking to Tiffany recently. Yes, my Tiffany, our Tiffany. And she was like, I think one of us was having an off day. And I was like, if it wasn't for my kids, I think they are like a meditation in and of themselves because they force you to just, if you do it right, just like focus on whatever they're focused on. So that helps is like actually being on the floor playing for me. But to your point, Yanely, about community, one of the interviews that I'm really excited about, I have Mickey Kendall, the author of Hood Feminism, which came out during the pandemic. It's a great book. If you guys haven't read it, she's working on a new book that's incredibly depressing. We were talking about it. And it's like, no, even she's like, I don't know how to find the uplifting part at the end I thought I would come to. It's all very dystopian, but it's basically about how the American dream is gone. It was a lie, which we all know. But toward the end of our conversation, I asked her, I was like, well, what do you think is the answer? Like, how do we get through this? If she's predicting civil war and all these things. And she said it's community. And she came up with an example of like, even in like it's going to be hyper local. Who are the people in your neighborhood?
Yes.
How are y'all bartering and trading skills and, sharing resources? Who has, who has something to offer other people and what can you share amongst each other? And by the time I was done talking to her, I had a group chat going with my two neighbors who, like me, attempt to garden each year and have varying results.
An
I was like,
annual gardening day.
no, well, since then it's escalated. I passed by this restaurant all the time where they've shut down. Unfortunately, it was a great restaurant, but they have all these beautiful, like these big, like cedar planting beds, like raised garden beds in the front of their restaurant. And they're just empty. And I happen to know someone who had the email for the owner. Long story short, he's like, I'll donate 3 of these giant planter beds to you in this community garden project, which at that point was a text that I started with my friends. So now I have a community garden. Now we've chosen like my neighbor who's across the way from me. She's going to put it in her yard. She gets the best light and then we can all access it. And we're just going to start planting. We're each going to like
that.
take a couple of crops. I've
Yeah.
got I've got tomatoes and some herbs, and then my other neighbor's doing corn and eggplant. Like we're trying to spread it so that we're not all trying to grow like I'm trying to grow all these things and I'm failing at it because I can't keep track.
Yeah.
And now we can like tend to the garden together, and we've got co-parents for our plant babies. So like if one of us is on vacation, the other one can show up and like water them or whatever the hell you got to do to plants. I don't know.
Yep.
Pick
I
off
love
the big
that.
caterpillars that try to eat them.
I love that.
Um,
We need that, and we need
Yeah.
that model, Mandy. I feel like that model applies in so many other contexts. Like I was watching Instagram content from Delina Madden. She's a good friend of mine. She's also a celebrity makeup artist, and she was talking about how within her space, like beauty and makeup and in that industry, the hardest thing about trying to tell people to do community and like small businesses and like black owned women brands and Latina owned women brands, like it's hard because of shipping. The shipping and handling is like the most expensive part. Like you might order a mascara that costs 20, $30, and all of a sudden the shipping is like $7. Now all of a sudden a third of the price is gone to shipping, and you're like, nah, I'm gonna just get this on
Yeah,
Amazon.
Amazon. That's the
Right.
whole
So it's
thing.
so hard to like leave. But her message, which I loved, I saved her reel about this because I was like, I got to come back to this, was like, we can get in our group chat, all the girls, we all buying the same mascara. We all buying
yeah.
this, buttery skin, whatever. We all doing it. So why don't we all get in here and go like, all right, I'm going to place the order. What do y'all need? Well, I'll get it all. We split. You all pay. We'll pay it out just like a dinner or a brunch or a birthday event, and then we split the shipping and handling. So it's a couple bucks each instead of each one of us placing a separate order, and then we can actually use Amazon less or have the goal aspiration within sight to eventually not use it. And I just thought that was so powerful because, like you said, Mandy, like
So
it's
simple.
it seems so simple, right? It's just it takes
Ask other
that
people for
tact.
help.
Yes, and we all
Yeah.
already doing a lot of this stuff anyway. We just gotta like unsilo the way we do. So we all doing stuff in silos. Like
Yeah.
why? Why?
Well,
So we
that's
all
exactly what I was about to say. Like, then we have to kind of question, like, when did we get from this community model that we all have used to know into like these hyper independent like structures where it's just like you and maybe one other person or you by yourself, especially for Black women. I don't know, like that's been shoved down our throat. Like, independent woman, you can do it yourself. You don't need nobody. All that kind of stuff. Like, where did this hyper independence come from when we know like everything has traditionally been rooted in that village structure, in that family and community structure? It's almost like it's intentional.
Oh, it's quite lucrative
and
for
it
companies if we're
sounds
all buying one of everything.
right.
Oh, hell yeah.
And politically,
Yeah.
when we think about what's going on with politics right now and the way things are moving, it sounds a lot like what's in alignment to these ideas of like self sufficiency. Pull yourself up,
Authoritarianism.
do for yourself, do for your own, worry about yourself. And it's like, wait
There's
a
not enough
minute.
for us all. We must all protect our own.
That's the
Yeah.
danger of it because then it
Yeah.
affects your mindset and roots into you thinking that like,
They're
oh, I
coming
have
for
to.
yours. It's only yours, and they're coming to take
Yes.
it.
And I gotta worry about
The
me and
bad
mine,
people.
and I can't be thinking about nobody else. And it's like, wait, if we actually get take a step back and like reflect on the bigger picture, the only way is to do that super hyper local community driven stuff, because at the end of the day, when you do find yourself completely in a silo doing things for yourself by yourself, that's where the frustration sets in. That's when you don't see yourself making any progress. That's when you start to get negative, and that negativity festers. It's like, nah, that's not what brings
Esther,
peace.
let
That
them
is
know.
not what brings peace. That's not good for your nervous system. Like, that's not what's like, that's why we have so much anxiety, honestly. So I feel like I am with you on this, Mandy. I want that model to like apply to all these other aspects of our life too, our
Yep.
finances, what other
Yep.
stuff we shop for, get
Yep.
groceries, like all this stuff. Because I'm like, one of the biggest things I've been trying to do is reduce the plastic that I use, and it's so hard because every time I go to a supermarket, everything's in plastic, little plastic things
Oh
and
my
container.
God.
Everything's bagged up, individual wrap plastic, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
It's
like,
hella bad in Europe
Good luck
too.
with that.
I didn't realize. Like even when I go to the grocery store, when I get produce, like you know how people put everything in little bag. I don't do that. Like I just group everything together and then I
yes,
have a bag.
one
But
bag, yup,
everything in Europe is like packaged like that. But
yes.
I don't know if you guys know, but there are these like fire communities. I don't know if you guys follow you know, the Camp FI, Stephen Bauer. Like he has created like these communities in like the Florida and Georgia areas where it's supposed to be a collective community. So, you know, there's one community lawnmower, there's a community center that everybody goes to and shares everything and cooks
Freaking
meals
brilliant.
together. You know, co-opting parenting situations, co-opting education, like all of these stuff. So these houses are built in a subdivision or they bought like a block, right? But everybody in there has this like covenant that this is a community and
Right.
this is how, and we're sharing in all of these resources, and is very financially intentional,
So smart.
very community minded. It's not very diverse right now, but
That part.
but
That
it
part.
can be.
Yeah.
It can
Yeah,
be.
100% it can be. It
So,
can
but
be. And it
it's,
should be.
it's just because we don't know what we don't know, right?
Right.
And so a lot of
Right.
this stuff has been happening in other communities for a long, long time, but unfortunately we haven't had access to that information.
Yep.
So, you know, that's why our platforms exist.
Yeah.
I can already hear people who are thinking, I've tried, but I don't have that kind of neighborhood. I don't have those kind of neighbors. What would y'all say to that fear or that
There's always
expectation?
you know, we're experts at the naysayers and the doubters and all that kind of stuff. I think it comes with the territory, but I think it's about exposure, right? The more you see something normalized by people who look like you or have shared experiences as you, the more you know it's possible. So we just got to keep on leaning into these messages and keep on sharing like we share, so that people know that they can do that. And I always share my story to the fullest. Like you can hear about my divorce, my bankruptcies, my foreclosures, my failures, my domestic violence, like all that kind of stuff. And say, like, if she could do it, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Where's that
And
book that we need to
like,
buy that you didn't promote because it was so traumatic?
I
See, it
know.
doesn't have all of that stuff in there, so you know,
Oh,
we
oh, I
we
can't
will
wait.
yeah, we're gonna write that book. We're gonna
Yeah.
You
write
got to
that
That'd
read.
book
be
for
Have you
really
read
sure.
Foot Feminism by Mickey Kendall?
No.
I
I'm
think.
gonna. It's
Oh,
on
I
the
think you'd
list.
like it a lot. Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
content, Naseema, is so important because it does address all. Like, it's a disservice to only post what you've accomplished and not all the adversity that you had to overcome to be a success story. Because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it makes everybody think, oh, okay, here's a cookie cutter approach. No, it's not. It's not that. And that's the
Yeah.
only way to actually do it in a way that serves everybody who watches your content to know the real deal, to know what actually happened and the full picture, not just the social media pretty parts, right? Because that's important. But I really, honestly, I do feel like if you live in an area that's not really like that, it's not designed like that, just go a little bit further out. Like for example, in Brooklyn, like where I grew up, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, in Bushwick, it probably wouldn't have worked necessarily unless it was a very specific group of like families.
Yeah.
Because once I started growing up, Bushwick started changing so much and gentrification hit hard. So I would see people, and then like a couple months later, they wouldn't live there anymore. I'd be like, wait, what's going on? Oh, they sold or they left. Oh, this, the new business took over the bodega, is now a bakery. And it's like, it would change so fast. It was hard to get a sense of like that community. But I still feel like if you go a little bit further out, like 5 boroughs, while it's a little far to go from Brooklyn to the Bronx or whatever, even that is enough to find people that are serious about, like, if it's a Facebook group for like the 5 boroughs, no spend, like, no, trying to like do a no spend
Yeah.
group where like, oh, we have this stroller, our baby doesn't need it anymore, instead of like throwing it outside or putting it in a garage, like, let's
Yeah,
put that, post
the
it in
buy
the group.
nothing groups. The
The
buy
buy
nothing
nothing
groups are
groups, like,
everything.
that's huge. One of
Yes.
my brother's wife, my sister-in-law, she recently joined the buy nothing group for the 5 boroughs, and she's like, you don't understand, this is amazing. Little things like a little toy that she saw on there that was like, anybody who can come by and pick it up is yours.
I
I
got
don't have the
bikes. I gotten everything.
girl,
Bikes, strollers, and
all of
I've
this
given
stuff.
away the same thing. Like, and then I find somebody to like pass down my kids' clothes to. Like, that means everything versus like
Everything,
giving stuff to the
everything.
Goodwill. Like,
Right. It's a girl. A lot of my sisters, like, all of my sisters have children except for me. Every single one of them, when they've gone through the process, they will bag up all the clothes from their youngest and pass it down to the next sister who just had a baby. So that there's not this constant, we have to go out and buy a whole bunch of new stuff for
yep,
this baby, a whole bunch of,
yep.
like, it's been a lot of hand me down stuff. And I feel like there's sometimes when I'm in certain environments, bougie or kind of groups, there's this ick, like, it gives them this ick to think like, oh no, I'm buying my stuff new, or
That's
I don't
consumerism, though.
child, that's what they want you
We
to
have
think,
washing machines. Like, those clothes are probably cleaner than the clothes you're getting off the rack.
honey.
So
But that's also how they want us to think, because the more we
exactly.
think that way, the more Amazon prevails,
Exactly.
the more brand new stuff. And it's so bad for us in so many ways. So I just feel like the more we can go in the opposite direction, the better it is for us in all these aspects of our lives that we're talking about, right? Like the environment, your finances, your mental health, your feeling of connectedness to your community. There's so many things that just that small interaction, right? My sister-in-law was telling me she left school and she routed her drive back home to stop along the way at the house of this woman in the buy nothing group where she could pick up the little toy for the baby. And when she stopped by, she had a quick, just a 10-minute chat with this woman. They had a cute little conversation. She got the toy. She was like, thank you so much. And that little thing, just like that little interaction that normally wouldn't happen, she would just go straight home, right? It just uplifted her spirit. That day was so much better. She made a connection. She met this woman. She stopped on a different route on the way home. Like, these are the tiny little things throughout life that, because life can just get so grueling. It's like
It
day in and
can.
day out, the monotony of it, and then we get so unhappy. And these tiny little things to change up your day can make a big difference on how your mindset, like how you start to feel, how you think. And it's all up here, of course, but just that joy, bro. We need a little bit of that joy back in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. Well, I think that's a wonderful message for BA fam. Like, I want to hear about your community gardens. I mean, like, also your struggle gardens, because I think the real, like me and what I spoke about with Mickey was like how people want perfection in their communities. Like, even put the asterisk with the campfire dude and like, it not being diverse. Listen, like, it's going to be imperfection
Yes.
everywhere while we try to
Yes.
figure it out. And
Yes.
I think conflict is going to come with, interpersonal conflict. Like, we're all going to get, the more we lean into community, the more we're going to have to anticipate. There's going to be conflict. We're going to have to get through things together and learn how to, and I think that friction is what people have become. It's not even about like the money sometimes, or, it's like, oh, I don't want to have to deal with people.
Yes,
I don't want to.
it's an aversion.
And like, what if people are like, what if they are inconvenient to me? But I think that's a muscle that we need to be working. Like,
Yep.
that is what community is, putting yourself maybe a little bit out of your way or out of, doing something inconvenient for the good of the community. And that's like a mentality, anti-consumerism to me, that I'm excited to like model for my kids and for myself. And I'll keep y'all posted on the garden. We'll let you know how it goes. Maybe they'll be
For
like
sure.
fighting over the tomato haul. Like, who knows?
Right,
If
right.
Latanya messes up the corn, we're all gonna like oust her. No, I'm kidding. That'd be fine.
I love that. I
But
love that
thank
you said
you.
model too, because like I do feel like we have to model interacting with other humans that we don't, like
Yeah.
these kids nowadays are so stuck to the iPad, they're so stuck to the phones. Like
They don't know
if
how to
you step out and
interact.
interact with other people,
See?
your child will see you doing that. Like, oh, this
That's
is
why I
what.
killed myself to interact for
Yeah.
12 hours in the car.
I admire you. I'm gonna clap. Let's clap it up for that
For
one
real, that's
day of
not
no
easy.
screen
And I'm
time,
good.
girl.
Girl, do
It
it.
was a tour de force, but by the end of it, my little 5-year-old, he was reading books by himself, and he has
Yay.
continued that.
Ooh,
Like, it
yeah,
really does make all the difference. It's so goddamn hard, but I also
yeah.
feel like, well, I didn't have these kids, so it's up to me.
But also,
That
Let's do
you
part.
it.
didn't have. But also, you didn't have an iPad when you were 5 years old in the car with mom and dad.
Nope.
Like, well,
I
you know
used
what
to
I
spend a
mean?
lot of time with them gigapets, though. They only did like three things, but I could make it last all
Tamagotchi.
day.
Those Tamagotchis, they got
What
you.
was I doing? The Pokemon Game Boy. I'm like that had like one
Yes,
level, but I was sad.
girl.
Duck
Yes.
Hunter.
But
Like
we got to go back to all that. Listen, the simplicity of
Yes.
it, having
Yes.
puzzles in the
yeah,
car, having books in the
Yes.
car,
Yes.
we can do it, y'all. We can
We
do it.
can.
yeah.
We can do it.
But for the emergency times, you keep those headphones, Naseema. You keep them ready
That's right.
for the car, for the kids in the car. All right, Boo Thins, thank y'all so much for joining me on the brown table today. Thanks for getting me out of my book cave. I'm about to go back in
Yes.
it. The clock is ticking, so I got to pick up those children.
You got this,
It's
girl.
2:40. I got to have the rest of the manuscript done in 2.1 hours, so
Oh, let's go. You
Go,
can.
go,
You
go
got
time.
this. You got it.
I'll eat later.
All
Um,
right.
all right, BA fam. Until next time, please stay tuned for all the fun content that I'm planning for Mental Health May. And yeah, just thank y'all. Where can they find y'all? Yanely and Naseema, where are you at?
I'm at
Uh,
MSP Helpful, MISSBE Helpful, and you can get a book, mindyourmoneybook.com. That's me.
yes. Yes. And I am at Financially Intentional, mostly on Instagram, but look up Naseema. Google me. You'll
Google
find
me,
me.
bitch.
You have a future. I feel like in like voiceover work. I feel like you have
You
a
think
great
Yes,
so?
voice.
You think
that's
Mhm.
so
so?
You
true.
I
have
think
like a
with I
great
think with
voice for a
AI
character.
now, like well that's
Yeah.
If I
that.
close my eyes,
That's
you could
just
be 12 different people. You could. Kindergarten. Kindergarten. All right, you go have the
kindergarten.
good
Yes.
time at Sinners. I want to know
All
what
right.
happened. I want to
Oh
know how you like
yes.
it.
Oh yes, for sure.
Enjoy.
Okay.
All right.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.